Thanks for stopping and listening. When I was a younger man, I spent some time working in a mission camp in interior of Belize. And one day there was a spontaneous fire that occurred in the grasslands, and the wind was such that it just blew it everywhere, and it was moving very rapidly across the prairie where this camp was. Our concern was that the fire was going to burn the camp down. So they had a caterpillar there when we were working on trying to build a line. And I was shoveling dirt, and the gentleman was running the cat. And the cat stopped, so we stopped, and he was trying to get it started. And you could hear the fire around you was loud, and it was crawling up inside of the palm trees, and the palms would explode and spread this fire everywhere. It was moving very fast. The winds were just whipping it along. It was burning it, 4 inches off the ground. It was just burning at the top of it. So as we were working on this caterpillar, I just felt an inkling to turn around. And as I turned around, I realized that the fire had encircled us. And there was I could just see this opening, like 20 feet, and it was going to close, and we had been encircled by the fire because we just weren't paying attention. That was the issue. So I reached up and shouted at the other person, and we took off. And the issue was us or the caterpillar, and we couldn't get it started. So we ran. As we ran, we went through that wall onto the other side, and it closed, and it burned all that grass. The point is that God does things for us constantly. Sometimes we see them. Sometimes we recognize that God is moving, like in that case. I can recall times where God has done miraculous things in our lives, from my children, two of my children, to some of the events that occurred in our family, and others. And I bet you have seen some too. I bet you've been in a place where God has moved upon your heart, and you did something, and you realize God was in that. God was in the midst of that. And that's a good thing. So as believers, pay attention to what God is doing, how God is moving in your life, how God is moving in other people's lives, and be prepared to tell that story to people, because that's what resonates with them. It's what God does through you, what God does through your heart, what God does and transforms you. That's what's important to people. They see you then and they see you now, and they see the difference, and they're curious. What's changed? Be prepared, as Peter says. Be prepared to give an accounting of why you believe the way you believe. Be prepared to tell him what God has done for you. Be prepared.